Welcome back to Brick System Brothers. Nathan Masters here talking about bricks and minifigs haul from Omaha. This is our second trip to Omaha this year. But I bought the same thing that I did the last time, which is a $40 bulk bag. And they have 6 tables of loose pieces that you go through. You can pick exactly what you want as long as the bag will close. And they have other sizes, but I found the last time I was there in January, I tried to do the $20 bag, and there was stuff that I still wanted to get. So this is about the right size for me. Can usually get 600 to 800 pieces, and all of these pieces, again, hand-picked, so stuff that I actually want. And not all of them are top-notch, but just an opportunity to pick up pieces that can come in handy, pieces that we've seen before in our HuTap. So I kind of I've been building up background knowledge of a lot of pieces as I go through that HuTap series. And it's not just those either. I spend time using the inventories on Rebrickable. So I know, going through set inventories, Rebrickable will tell you which pieces are rare, which pieces have only been in 3 sets or less. So you do that enough, you start to get an idea of which pieces are maybe harder to find and worth more. So that's part of the motivation. The other part is I really like to just stock up on pieces that I think I might need, even if I don't have a use for them currently. So that's what I did. That's what this bin is. Hand-picked pieces that eventually might get used. Both sides of this in dark green. Something you might not get in a typical bulk grab where you're just going and scooping up a bag of pieces. The occasional sticker, but that's what's here. So I'll probably give this a little rinse, and then of course do the digital inventory, and that's when we'll start to look at which pieces are actually rare, uncommon. I can give you kind of my breakdown with the lot numbers and number of colors, and some of those numbers there that I like to do. Hopefully you guys like that too. So, a couple pieces that were a little bigger than I usually buy. Got a nice one of these, the blue and silver swirl. Tail fin, it's pretty large, but it has that sticker on there. Thought that was interesting. Royal light blue castle battlement, not sure what that's from, and a long flex hose. So these are nice. This is really one of the only Lego pieces that you can kind of customize, where you're actually encouraged to do a little bit more model making with these, and you can cut these to a certain length. They have a little bit of stiffness to them, so that if you bend it enough, it will actually hold that position, and then you use clips and other things to help hold it in place. So a lot of train models use these for the handrails. It's just a nice thing to have on hand. Flex hoses, I think, is what these are called. Even though they don't, well, there's a little bit of flexing, I guess. So, another really unique, interesting mix of parts to go ahead and catalog. It's going to be a lot of different lots and a lot of different colors, but that's what I like to get at Bricks and Minifigs. All washed up. A little bit organized here out to dry, but I'll probably pile them all back in the same bin when I do the inventory. Like I showed in our store video, there was actually a section of tan wall, and I had some room left in the bag. We were trying to wrap things up. I kind of realized I didn't have as much time to go through and pick meticulously, so I broke down this tan wall and got a lot of 1x6 and 1x4 bricks. There's also a surprising number of the 3x3x6 engine in black, so I just grabbed all of those, had the room for it, and a lot of other larger pieces that do take up a little more volume. So the smaller stuff I tried to kind of pick a few of these, these pins to offset that and at least get over 600 pieces, and that was successful. So yeah, still happy with all these at the end of the day. A lot of windows and panels, just something that does pop out as you're going through. Nice mix of the older ones, and even got some of those older white ones. Where did I put those? Right here. The white 1x4x2. Those aren't quite as common. Some nice large slope pieces and just a general mix like usual. Total pieces come out to about 630, give or take when you count these wheels. Rebrickable sometimes does these different than I would. And that's in 363 unique lots. So there were a couple of parts lots that were higher this time. 9 of those engines like we just saw. And then in that tan wall, I ended up with some nice copies, 12 copies of a 1x2, 19 1x4s, 16 1x6, and then some of these other bricks, just closer to 1 copy of those. And then in the panels as well, 12 of these in the dark transparent. But otherwise pretty good range across the board, different types of parts. And this particular lot is actually one of the highest in terms of different colors. So a quick count over here that I just did, I got 43 different colors. And some of those, only 1 or 2 pieces in that color. I think what is helping that number a lot this time is a lot of different transparents. So this transparent purple, orange, the light blue, dark blue, all of those coming in on top of a lot of the solid colors in some of these not as common, nugget, lime, even a magenta tile in here. And some of these pieces do have those stickers on there, but Rebrickable does not track stickers. They track the prints, which is good because you can put those in, but the stickered pieces you just have to enter as a normal part. So quick look at the prices. We'll just look at top 5 maybe. So skip this row without any prices, and we start with the 1x2x2 panel in yellow. It's always been higher for some reason. Not sure why that one is up. Even in new condition, that panel should not be that much, but apparently this is the current average on Bricklink. After that are some older windshield types, and this one I do like. I think this is, in new condition, a closer to its actual value. Used condition, maybe a $5 piece. And then some of the other ones up here, because the top 5 actually doesn't tell us too much this time, but the 1x5, or I guess it's a 2x5 by 6 or so castle wall. This is the older light gray. 2 of these, and those are maybe a $10 piece used. And some of the other not as common elements, and then getting to the older stuff as well, those start to accumulate a little bit more value. But got these plugged in. I really like putting these in on Rebrickable, even though it takes a while to be able to have this reference. And these are really starting to add up now. I've got in my loose categories over 20,000, and counting all of the sets I've logged in here, getting pretty close to 100,000 parts. But yeah, this was with 630 pieces, about 7 cents a piece in this lot. Alright, let's talk stickers for a minute. I think there's 24 stickered Lego pieces here out of about 630 or so, so that's just under 4%. And stickered pieces are something that I really try to inspect closely before I buy from like the hobby store here. So it has to be kind of a sticker that I can use in multiple places, or it's really well applied so it doesn't look too bad. This is probably one of the best applied stickers I've seen on this Exoforce triple curve. It's just on really square. I think these are the old, they're either the transparent or the color match is really, really close. So this just looks like a really well done stickered piece, and it might be something that I try to piece together eventually, because I did pick up a lot of the Exoforce pieces in a lot once. So that might come in handy down the road, and it's almost to the point where it looks printed. It's so well applied. So this sticker is probably the best out of the group. And then some of the other ones here, this one's probably the worst. It's just a little off center, but it does go to a Star Wars vehicle, And I also got it because I have the other half of this dark green cylinder and it doesn't have a sticker. So worst comes to worst, I just take the sticker off of this and then I have both halves of that kind of set there. And then this one, I like this sticker on here. It's not too big, it's not overpowering, and it's kind of a generalized logo as well, so that could have some uses. I think it pairs with this one on the side panel. Again, kind of a generalized aviation sticker that could see use beyond its original use in the set. So this doesn't have to be part of an airplane, you know, it could be on the terminal or a vehicle to represent that. I got these because they're kind of an uncommon piece. So the inverted wedge here in the solid green, and then it does have the farm sticker on there, which is a bonus. I think this one's applied slightly better, and this one's a little off center, but this one is the one with the number. So I think this either goes to the combine harvester or the grain silo or the port, the wheat port set. So one of those three, I'd have to brush up on that. Not as familiar with that as I would have been when that set came out, but I do remember seeing that before. This one I think is from Cars 3, and it has the Japanese characters on there. Don't know what that says, but I like it. Looks good. And then that red circle on the white background is also the Japanese flag, so that kind of all ties together. Some sandcrawler stickers, some mechanical detail on that, a couple of windows, and these are the old style windows. So those are discontinued. That's why I got those. I think this one is also from the combine. 5,000. So that's probably from the same set. And then a seismic. These three are actually from the volcano sub-theme of City from like 2017 or 2018. And I ended up getting one or two of those sets. And so I got these just in case I want to kind of expand something with a mock down the road. These two are from the ice cream truck last year. And a majority of that ice cream truck was there and assembled, but I was just after the stickers. Another one of these, I think from that Cars. It has the World Grand Prix. So yeah, that's going to be like a Cars 3 set with those designs. This is from Anakin's Pod Racer. This is kind of just a general Ferrari, maybe, #1. Carpet, and that's it. Now, stickers are alright, but I'm more excited about the prints because these are just, you know, prints are better quality, they generally last a lot better, and prints over stickers. I think most people would agree. So I did get 3 larger prints on the transparent elements. This is a Millennium Falcon, TIE Fighter, and General Grievous Starfighter print, so some Star Wars ones here. And these are really useful for building spacecraft and vehicles, so I try to grab these. Even though I haven't used a lot, I think they will come in handy. Just kind of at a phase in my collecting and Lego hobby where I'm stocking up rather than doing a lot of building. So as I'm in this phase, I want to gather up as many useful pieces as possible so that when I do get to more of a building phase with that focus, I'll have these on hand. Ninjago print here, just kind of unique, and it's an older one from 2012. So kind of going back to one of the original first or second waves of the theme. And then a couple slopes, some 2x4 slopes over here. The one with the red stripe is kind of more obscure, and it's a really general print that I don't know, I just grabbed it. It's interesting. I got one other one at Detroit. So now I have 2 of those, and then these 2 are the older style of vehicle with that triangular logo. Kind of interesting, in both blue and red, so one of each. And then before I get to the smaller slopes, I did have a 1x2x2 clock print. This one is interesting as well. This was only in a couple sets back in the 90s, maybe even back to the 80s. And what's interesting about this piece is the connection point underneath can actually receive an axle. So I might talk about that more in a different video. I do want to discuss the variants of different Lego pieces, and that would be a good one to discuss the variants of. Just when you look at something that appears the same on the outside but has some mold differences. But yeah, a clock print here, and then some other slopes. Some computer with the radar print, 2 of those. An older one with the grills, but in red, so a little more uncommon than the white one. And then a typical grid pattern, classic space. Extreme Team on the 2x3 slope. and then the rest are kind of some tiles here, except for this one, which is on that sign clip. So just a 2x2 square with the clip on the back, computer screen, keyboard, mail, a couple of 2x2 round discs from Star Wars. It took me a while to find the set this was in, because the different, like Bricklink and Rebrickable, use different terms to describe this one. And then this 1x6 print, seen it around, still not really sure where it's from, but I grabbed it. Another computer screen, some control panels, Grand Prix, one end of the carpet. Would have liked to have two of those, but one's good enough. And then these two on the outside, kind of, I don't know, whatever, something different. These two are from the Cars theme, and they're really nice, really smaller details on here to get in some decoration maybe on the front of some of my other projects. I think that was briefly something that was in our in-store video. So these are the prints. Alright, let's close it out with my top picks from this haul. I'll start over here on the left. This appears to be a 1x1 brick in this bright transparent green color. I'll get this off the board here just for a more direct comparison. And I thought I was getting a nice addition to my 1x1 transparent colors, but it turns out that this is a well done knockoff brick. The LP logo. So that's not Lego, and it turns out that Lego has not produced a 1x1 brick in that color. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'll probably just hold on to it because it is a pretty good color match, but I was fooled. So it happens to us sometimes. After that, I did manage to find all three of the subparts for the fire truck ladder assembly. So the base part goes onto a standard studded surface. That slides into the bottom of this ladder with the side supports, and then your standard ladder with the grooves slides right into that. So all three pieces there available, and that all came together nicely. I got one of the large turbines. This was a Hold Up What's That Awesome Piece episode. By the time I recorded that, I only had the black and pearl silver version. I've now acquired a few of these blue ones, and one of them is from this Bricks and Minifigs. So a larger piece does take up a lot of that volume when you're buying by volume, but I think worth it in this case. This element is actually a subpart, but it does have an individual part number, 41820, and Rebrickable did not have this as an individual part until I sent in a change request, and I said, hey, if you guys make this an active part, I can send you some pictures. So that worked out nicely, and that's the picture I sent in for them to use. So I try to send in these part images when Rebrickable doesn't have an image for their database, because I have the part and I have the camera, and I can take a little time to do that. This is a nice piece. It's one of these notched wedge plates, which I buy when I see them. But I grabbed this after only looking at the bottom because the top has a lot of yellowing going on. So this is redeemable. There's a process with hydrogen peroxide that I'll be doing with a batch of multiple pieces that have this issue. But this one is pretty bad. This is almost tan up at the top here. So that's going in that batch to be taken care of later, and I'll probably talk about that on the channel when I get to it. A train magnet, this is the new version, but nice to get in bulk just the same. And this windshield is a 4x3 base to a 2x4 top. Just not as common, kind of an older part, so I enjoy grabbing that. I talked about this one in the printed section a little bit, but yeah, getting a printed clock on something other than a 2x2 round tile is nice, kind of a classic piece there. This guy I bought because I had not seen it before. So every once in a while I come across a Lego piece that I did not previously know or was aware of. And that, I mean, there's thousands, 20, 30,000, more than that, I'm sure. Different variants of different pieces through the years. Most of them have been retired for a long time, and so occasionally I'll stumble across something I haven't seen before, and that was the case with this one. I don't remember. This one doesn't have a part number molded onto it, so I had to go and find using some part relationships. But it has this old version of the pivot connector, and there's 3 or 4 other pieces that fit in this system. So it's a retired pivot system now, but it does have a couple variants that are useful. And then Bricks and Minifigs sells their minifig pieces separately for more money, but they did miss a few from their bulk tables. So these are the ones that I grabbed out of the bulk and got at regular price. This is a plain bright light blue head, reddish brown regular hairpiece, and a red helmet with a visor. So nothing really rare or valuable, but just grabbing these out of the bulk saves a little money. Not that I would have bought these from the Bricks and Minifigs minifig table because they are marked up a lot, but I will go ahead and buy these out of their bulk bins since they missed them. So that's what I picked up. These are the highlights for me. And I'm sure out of those other 630 pieces, you guys saw stuff that you liked. Now, if you do want me to focus on something like that, you can leave a comment and I'll try to get to it in a video, but we'll be moving on from this for the most part. I think Josh will be talking about his pieces coming up on the channel, so that's coming out. And yeah, that's about it for now, so we'll see you guys next time on Brick System Brothers.